name is Gershon Shevach. The name Shevach comes from more than 2,000 years ago. My father grew up in a little village in Poland near Białystok. Most of the family came from the Judah tribe. In my mother's side, she grew up in Krakow. Then she went to Belgium. My father studied rabbi and also built a little business in Frankfurt and got married. And he has a child. And his wife died after the birth of the child. So he has to put the child in a special girl's house in Frankfurt. The Nazis begin to grow up in Germany, and he understood that something wrong is going to happen. He decided that he has to run away from Germany, and he went to Belgium to find a house and that he will move his girl. Then he found after a while, and he came back, no girls, all the girls from this house were sent to Birkenau. My father carried like a big stone that he could not save the life of his daughter. Then the Germans entered to Belgium. So they ran away from Belgium to France. They have a lot of trouble. They told me some stories about shooting airplanes that shoot the people that ran away, all the refugees. Then they ran away from Paris and they came to Lyon. This is in the south. And then my father was caught. And with the beauty of my mother, she took him away from the train. That was also to Birkenau. And they went to Marseille, they got married. And they decided to run away to Switzerland. But the Swiss soldiers caught them on the border, and they opened a camp of all the refugees that were caught to bring them back to the German. But my mother was pregnant with me. It was in April 1943. They took her to Lausanne, and I was born in the hospital of Lausanne. And then we together, me and my mother, were sent back to the camp. Then she realized the idea, and she got pregnant with my brother. We have a year plus between us. Therefore, they remained in this camp when all the others were sent back to the German. War ended in 1945. I was almost 3 years old. One of the reasons that make me doubt about religious, because I said that it could not happen, something like this. My father, on the other hand, he continued to be religious. He believes that maybe the way that the Jewish live, and because they didn't want to move back to Israel and all these things, and he saw it as a punishment that was from God. And he continued to believe in God. My father was very Zionist, and he believed in Israel and the reborn of the new state of Israel. And the church ship, illegal ships, to take them to Israel. They found a ship in Barcelona, and we were taken by the British government in the end of 1945 to Atlit. That was the camp that we put all the refugees that tried to enter Israel. Then he decided to went to Ramat HaSharon, very small village. As I grew up, we say we. The word we was the symbol of this country. We made it, and in my opinion, there is a connection between the Holocaust and the rebuild of Israel. and the success of Israel. We came to our reborn country to build it and to rebuild ourselves. And it's made on me a big impression. Therefore, I became an architect because I found it as a mission to build Israel. And I'm glad to say to you that I built in Israel, in the army, and more than 1,000 buildings spread all over Israel and all over the Israeli army camp. My father died in 62 years old. And for me, it was a big tragedy, but that's life. I was in this time 25 years old. My mother lived, and she got married and lived a nice life with the second one also. Then he died, and then after that she died at the age of 82. And I moved to Shoresh. Why Shoresh? Because Shoresh is the Judah tribe area. Therefore, we call the mountains here Judah Mountains. It was looking terrible, like very poor place. And I promised them that I'm going to do from this place a little paradise. And I think that I succeeded. Most of the people live, I think, very good life, and we build a very interesting and beautiful place to live. Not even for Jewish, for everyone. I knew a lot of Christians that support Israel. Everyone that pray for Israel, and everyone that help Israel, and everyone that love Israel. It's a big treasure for Israel. It's feel you proud because, as I say, we come to build and rebuild ourselves. Until now, we need the people from outside that saying you are right and you are going on the right way to feel better as we build and to rebuild our soul, our people after this Holocaust.